Hi, my name is Liz Hathway and this is my astrological look at the week ahead, the week starting Monday the 15th of June, but I'm uploading a day early today. There's a lot actually happening this week. We are very definitely in a build-up phase. We come into one of the peak moments, I think, in the eclipse season, with the solar eclipse on Sunday in 0 degrees 21 Cancer. So it's all about this sort of eclipse energy which is dominating the sort of vibe in the collective. We can see, for example, a number of trends this week that are all feeding into the general sort of vibe of the season, if you like. So we have on Thursday, for example, Mercury going retrograde in 14 degrees 46 Cancer. It'll go direct on the 12th of July in 5 degrees 30 Cancer. So the Mercury retrograde station retrograde here, it's all sort of hovering around the lunar eclipse degree, which will be the last of this summer's group of eclipses, which is going to be on the 5th of July in 1329 Capricorn. That lunar eclipse sun will be then at 1329 Cancer. So you can see Mercury at 1446 Cancer is kind of playing in, if you like, to that lunar eclipse, feeding into that final eclipse of the season. The eclipse itself, the solar eclipse on Sunday in 0 degrees 21 Cancer. So it's just after the sort of summer solstice, actually. The sun has just moved into Cancer, then it's immediately eclipsed. Moon is very powerful in this eclipse. It's in its own sign, so it's a very, it kind of adds an extra layer. And the eclipse as well is, of course, on one of these hugely important cardinal points. It's what we call the axis of the world. This is very much about the Earth's relationship to the sun. It's because it's connected to the Earth's cycle around the sun, and these are turning points in that cycle, you know, the equinoxes and the solstices. So these cardinal points, things can change, can turn. So to have an eclipse on this point, it's like a new moon on steroids, if you like. It's a super powerful new moon. So look, for example, where this eclipse is falling in your chart, because it's like an extremely powerful new moon. Is it negative necessarily? I find in individual charts, definitely not. It's kind of highlighting things. It's bringing focus into things. It's umphing it up in that area of your chart, if you like. But yeah, it's a very as I say, it's a sort of a new moon, but that's going to last a lot longer than a normal new moon would. Coming back into the week a little bit, though, there's a number of other things that are all kind of feeding into the general vibe of the moment. So we see, for example, Mercury retrograde, and as I say, in Cancer, Mercury rules thoughts, it rules ideas, it rules also how we translate what's going on around us, how we put that into words, how we express it, if you like. And that's also internal dialogue as well, you know, how we see things around us. It's in Cancer, so it's certainly when the sun moves into Cancer as well. You know, there's again that emphasis on the personal. There's been a lot of things been going on in the world around us, with Corona, for example, Black Lives Matter. So it's kind of a moment maybe as well for us to see what that means to me. What's my take on all of this? What are my own personal thoughts on it? It's a week as well when we see Mars coming out of the end of its sojourn in Pisces, if you like, and it makes that sextile with Jupiter. That's an interesting sextile because of the fact that these planets are in each other's signs. Mars is in the Jupiter-ruled sign Pisces, and Jupiter is in Capricorn, which is, of course, the sign where Mars is exalted. So there's a strong reception here, adding sort of more beneficial influence, if you like, to this sextile. Mutual receptions are very much about you know, they're kind of like satisfying associations, if you like. We can help each other out. And there is contact here as well. There's an actual aspect between the two. So we can get things together, even though Jupiter's retrograde. So that's I think as well, that's an interesting sextile, and it's happening on the day that the Sun conjuncts the North Node as well, very late degrees of Gemini there. So North Node, it's again, it is about direction, and then it's just after that, of course, after that Sun North Node conjunction, we are going to get the powerful new moon, which is a solar eclipse. So I think the weekend holds an awful lot of potential on an individual level. I think collectively we remain, you know, like eclipse season is always unpredictable. Events can just take off and run away with us, if you like. Mercury, of course, is the ruler of the US 7th house, for example, and this particular eclipse, we saw a similar eclipse in 2001, the 7th house US chart, open enemies. So there's a lot of buzz around that Mercury in Cancer there, which, yeah, I mean, it's kind of focusing a bit, I think, on the US there. What else have we got this week? We've got Neptune, of course, slowing down now. It's going to go retrograde next week. It's going to be retrograde then for 5 months. So we can see as well that Neptune is still remaining very much a planet that's in play, if you like. It was the focal planet in the first lunar eclipse of this eclipse season, squaring the Sun and Moon. And Neptune in Pisces, that oceanic feeling, that feeling of the collective movement in the collective. Pisces surges, you know, that rush, that ebb, that flow, that mountainous sort of, you know, to lift us up and carry us off somewhere. So that Neptune slowing down, going retrograde next week in this sort of, as we come into the, shall we say, almost the, that high point of this eclipse season with that solar eclipse on the axis of the world on Sunday. Yeah, eclipses, I say, powerful solar eclipse, being cut off from the Sun in a way, being cut off and being left. The feeling is very powerful, that the emotions are very powerful. Emotions move us, of course, and that Neptune going retrograde, Mercury going retrograde. This is almost like, you know, almost the still before the storm in some respects. Anyway, a really powerful, interesting week. And I just say to you, have a good one. Thank you for listening. Bye.